Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another candid conversation about network marketing with me, BK here, and of course, Dr. Wayne Pickstone over on the other side. Hi, Dr. Wayne.
Hey, BK. Hi, everyone.
So today we wanted to, I think we mentioned, everyone is, there's a lot of uncertainty in the air, and people are working from home. Some people are not able to go to work. And we talked about meditation, correct, Dr. Wayne?
Yes, we did.
And I think it's probably very appropriate now for Dr. Wayne to just walk us through it, because I think it helps us to recenter, refocus, and probably ease our mind as well and reduce stress. So I would like Dr. Wayne to walk us through a simple, quick start guide to how to approach meditation. Of course, I understand that it's a way complicated topic and it's probably going to take much longer than this. But he's going to get us at least started on the right track, right?
Yes, yeah. And as you just alluded to, this topic is quite deep. We could probably spend easily a week talking about it, 8 hours a day. It's a very deep subject. But it's one of the things that I believe is, if we just talk about some sort of like overarching themes, and I believe what's happening today is that we've actually lost our way, so to speak, in terms of, because I speak to all different areas and different people. I'm not sure if I mentioned this last week. Did I mention about the people at the gym and people who have got iPads and earphones? And Did I talk about that last time? Yeah. Okay. So just talking about that a little bit more to put us into the theme of the meditation is one of the big things that we've always been taught. Taught is probably not the right word, but always understood, is that we need to sit still. We inherently know that. Like even when we see ads of people by the beach, it's laying on a hammock. So the theme is sit still. However, where the way we should be sitting still is through meditation. And the more that we sit in meditation, the more we offer ourselves intuitively to answers of wisdom that we may not have had before. Because under stress, the ego will come out and unfortunately give us answers that may not be in the right way of moving forward, unfortunately. So from there, one of the broad brush statements we spoke about last week, just bringing people up to speed, is the more that we go to the gym with iPods, earphones, sorry, the more that we go to walking, to exercise, and remembering we're releasing endorphins while this is occurring. And yes, you might have different types of really good music on, or you might have different podcasts are on. I'll talk about this from an energetic point of view. However, you don't know how the energy of that music or that iPod initially was started. If it was started and framed with the person being in a negative, even though they're talking positive, you're getting that negativity. However, if you are, and this is one of the statements that I put together when I was texting someone the other day, is consciously we may wish to be X. I am a great network marketer. I am a great leader in network marketing. However, if the subconscious brain doesn't actually understand anything about what that means, you can say that all day. So the conscious reality of who we are is determined by our subconscious beliefs. And these subconscious beliefs are that deep that a lot of the times we don't know where they are, how deep they go, what they are. But through meditation, and we're going to start very lightly and I know there might be a lot of people who are listening to this now who are deep meditators, and I'll say sorry, because this is going to be quite simple for those people who haven't done much meditation. However, simplicity, even when we hear of great network marketers talk about their own business or our business. Simplicity is really important.
Yes.
Really important. And we might even talk more about that after we go through the after the meditation. So even simplicity in meditation, even when I went to the gym this morning, someone there was pumping iron and doing all this stuff. He had heavy weights and all the rest of it. His breathing was out of control compared to the weights he was lifting. So he was actually doing internal damage to his body because he was actually holding on to all the energy when he was doing exertion. And he was using big weights, which means now it's compromising his internal mechanisms. Now, at his age, he's only probably 30-ish, but at the age of 45, 50, he probably now might develop an inguinal hernia or something like that because he didn't know how to channel that energy in a positive way, in a simple way. Like I would rather, and I think Bruce Lee is a great example of it, thin, basically allows his energy to be put to a simple mechanism of pushing through what he wants to, what his target may be. And the same, like I'd rather at the gym basically be simple in my weights, but doing everything in a correct way so that my whole body balances from it. And the same with meditation. So this simple technique we will go into is the basis of everything if you want to meditate.
So basically, what Dr. Wayne is saying is that sometimes when we get started, focus on the form.
Yes.
The basic form first. Get the form right. You don't have to try and get it too complicated. You know, for example, you don't have to go and try a 6-hour meditation when you have not even started it once. First, get the form right. Even in the gym, you know, get the form right. Whatever you're doing, you're breathing right. The weights can be much lower than you need to be at, right? But get the form right first. And I think that is very good advice.
Yeah. And from the Ayurvedic text, I remember reading 20-something years ago, I've forgotten the word, but it kind of said that if you can meditate truly on one aspect of self, meaning going into self, into the subconscious, into the deeper part of who we are, for 7 seconds, you are a brilliant meditator. 7 seconds.
I mean, the last time we talked about this, I said that my brain is going at 200 miles per hour. I had to calm myself down. So 7 seconds will be quite an achievement for me as well.
And we don't even expect 1 second today for those people who haven't done it before.
Yeah.
So, okay. So one of the things in terms of form is making sure that your shoulders are back and down. So just allow posture to be upright so that shoulder blades are back and down. So like so. It's nice to put your hands in that type of a framework. This allows neutrality of both right and left hemispheres. So I'm sitting that just nice and comfortable in front of me. If you're sitting in the the lotus position, for example, this is a nice way you can just put that onto your lap. Other people then will do it this way, just individually. I like it bringing these two together. It's just a personal thing. And other times I'll do that as well. So it's not put in stone. And then the next thing is just allow your eyes to gently close. Just allow your eyes to gently close. We're just going to start with breath. And all this meditation is going to be is just focusing on the breath. So allow your breathing to come in through the nostrils. And as it's coming down, I would like to see the breath or visualize the breath going down into the dantian or just behind the navel. So we're just seeing it behind the navel. As we breathe in, we're also allowing the stomach to actually push out as we breathe in ever so lightly. So it's pushing out. It's not going in, it's pushing out. And as you breathe out, you basically now just allow the breath to allow the stomach to go back into a flat position. We're just going to do this a few times. I just want you to breathe in through the nostrils, pushing the stomach out ever so lightly. And then just bringing breath back in. Breathing in again through the nostrils. And breathing out. And with this meditation, all we're going to do is just do this, and I'm just going to count another 7 times in terms of breathing in and breathing out. So gently breathe in through the nostrils, placing your awareness behind the belly button. Breathing in again. And breathing out. Breathing in. Placing your awareness behind the belly button each time you're breathing in. Breathing in. Breathing in. Breathing in. And one last time. Breathing in. And out. Now, as you complete it, just allow your eyes to open and allow your hand just to come into that position there. And that just allows everything then to be centered.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Dr. Wayne. So generally, would you recommend that people sit on a chair or sit in a cross-legged position on a mat?
Depending upon their athletic ability.
Whether they can sit cross-legged or not.
Yes, yes, yeah. So if you can, if you are able to, are you getting a funny audio feedback or is it just my end?
Sounds fine for me. Yeah.
Okay, good. Must be just my end. So the best is sitting down in the lotus position. So the best is sitting down in the lotus position. And the best time to do this is as the sun is actually then rising. One of the old concepts is that if you can watch, the best way to maintain health is to watch every sunrise as the sun, I think I said sunset before, as the sun rises. Yeah.
We'll do it at a sunrise.
Yes.
Okay. Any requirements for,
sorry?
Any requirements for the room settings and stuff?
Not at this point. I think the most important thing is, even if you are not an early bird, and sometimes you might have, so much going on, you just get up and you might have to get up at 4:30 and go. As long as it might be just a morning tea. You sit in your office and just allow this to occur. And it's interesting when you read some of the books about, especially autobiographies about some of the greats in terms of business, they used to do this during lunchtime, for example. I used to have a time where they just used to sit still and just, whether it was called meditation back then in terms of business, whether they called it back in those days, that word, but they were meditating, they were allowing their brain basically to intuitively bring in wisdom.
Okay. So what you just demonstrated for us just now is something that we can do in like less than 5 minutes every time. Right?
Yes.
And kind of helps us to get centered and probably less hassled by, the things that are going on around us.
Yeah. And I know myself went down and centered quite nicely. How did you feel doing that, BK? How did the mind go?
I was trying to monitor and see what's going on. So I did try a little bit and follow along, but because we are doing this podcast, I kind of was watching to see when are you going to finish. So I'll try that again later on. Yeah, I'm a novice at this, so I must confess, everyone, I'm a novice at this. I haven't tried this before, so something that I really want to try now, since we have some more time on our hands and most of us are working from home. This is something definitely we can do. Being an early riser is not a problem for me, so I can try that, catch a sunrise.
Yes, yeah. Beautiful time of the day.
Yeah. Is it better to do it outdoors or indoors if you have the opportunity to choose between the both? the two?
Outdoors is best by far. So my preference personally is by the water. So I'm overlooking, where I go is either by the ocean or by the neighbouring river that goes out into the ocean, and even rainforest, or even just looking at trees or somewhere in nature. So just to understand this at another level, when the sun hits, and especially in the early morning, when the sun hits water, especially seawater, salt water, the oceans and the salt water release ozone, O3, which is really relaxing as well. And the same type of thing happens when you're in rainforest and in greenery, not to the same degree, but it still happens. So and as the sun first comes up, I could talk about just that probably a few hours, but everything that is received in that time frame as the sun comes up is pretty special as well.
Yeah.
And that's without meditation.
I can appreciate that, because I used to enjoy, I still do enjoy photography. So light is important. First light, last light, we kind of think there's a magical moments in the air. So I'm very sure that there's a certain reason for it, but we do not have the 8 hours a day to do it now. We could, some other time we could do an extended 8-hour seminar podcast on that as well, right? So thank you, Dr. Wayne, for taking us through that. I think it's kind of good for everyone to get a inkling or a start, but remember what we just said just now, get the form right first. Do this for a couple of days. I think a lot of conventional or typical wisdom says that if you want to get into a habit of doing something, it probably requires 21 days.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So do this continuously for the next 21 days, and you never know, and you might be keen to explore what Dr. Wayne was alluding to just now, deeper studies into this meditation. I think, long story short, if you just pay attention to a lot of the leaders or a lot of successful people in any industry, not just in network marketing, but in any industry, you realize that they have certain habits and practices and sometimes even routines. And if these routines have been helping them, I think for us, naturally, the next question to ask ourselves is, shouldn't we just kind of adopt them into our own careers or business if you are not happy with where you are in your business, right? That just makes sense, doesn't it?
It does. Certainly does.
So that is our very short introduction to meditation by Dr. Wayne. I'm pretty sure if there are more requests, he's more than happy to go into a deeper dive into that, but we reserve that for another time, right?
Yep, very true.
Yeah. So we have a bit of time left. Do you want to talk about anything else, Dr. Wayne?
Probably, if we talk further about that word simplicity, and maybe simplicity of duplication.
Yeah, major keyword.
Yeah, because it's one of the major things that allows any networker to get to that next level of being a leader. So if we reflect back, why are we meditating? So just look at the simplicity of that. Why are we meditating? Mainly because if we want to become a leader and we are at this emotional reality, we want to get to here, your normal habits aren't going to support that. Meditation will allow you to see things and to sit quiet, and you'll feel stuff that you've never felt before. And there's a whole lot of different questions and different things like we can put in there once we get used to doing it. But I want people to get used to doing the simplicity, get the form right first. And so if we want to get to here, which is now becoming a leader, it's understanding the simplicity of duplication, because a lot of people, unfortunately, make that complex. I know I did when I first came into network marketing. I'll put my hand up straight away. I really, because of my nature in terms of, being in the natural industry for 30 years and being in business for 30 years, I complicated the heck out of it.
Guilty as charged.
And I think
so all of you are listening to experience. We have made those mistakes, and We just hope that you don't duplicate our mistakes. Learn from our mistakes and take it from there, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And I think the first theme, it's kind of like if I said to BK right now, and I don't want you to, but if I said to BK right now that I want you to recite your ideal client for your network marketing business, I should be also able to wake up BK at 3 o'clock in the morning and he should be able to tell me his ideal client. So the first thing is keeping the simplicity of duplication first in our mind. So even when I went to the gym this morning, I was reciting my ideal client, because when you're doing that, looking at greenery, no iPods, no TV screens, looking at greenery while I was on doing my exercises, reciting my ideal client. What happens now is that once that becomes you, remembering you're here and your ideal client is here, meaning this is the person that you wish to aspire to become the leader. If you're here, this is going to take maybe a little while for you to transcend to this level. But when that occurs, it sends out a butterfly effect of resonance of energy that now goes out and you start now attracting these people to you. So what generally happens with duplication is if, for example, we're someone who doesn't like going out and talking to people, or meaning our leaders, we're talking about duplication with leaders here now. So you've got to your level because you're okay going out talking to people. So you got to a certain level, but now it needs to be able to go out talking to your leaders, how to inspire them, how to do that via Zoom like we're doing here now. How can we bring that duplication in a simple way rather than in a complex way?
Yeah. I think for leaders, the challenge is to resist putting in too much of yourself into the business. Take a step back and of course you are definitely a leader and you have your own skills and wisdom and abilities, but sometimes you kind of need to remember that we are in a network marketing business. Our main job is to create the distribution channels for the company that we are working with, and what you want is a massive network for the products to move. The moment you put in too much complication or too much complexity into whatever you're doing, then it becomes difficult for the next person to bring it along. In fact, it should be so simple that anybody off the streets can duplicate exactly what you're doing, and therefore you can have a simple, massive organization that all of us aspire to.
Yeah.
Right. So personally for myself, I always have to, I think that's always the major challenge whenever we come across a leader. Leaders always have their own ways of doing certain things, and that's always the norm. But at a certain point in time, I think most of them start to realize that they kind of need to keep things simple, because they know that they have to deal with a lot more people, and not everybody is going to be like them, right? So just resist that temptation and get yourself to that point faster, meaning the understanding that you want to keep things simple. That will be a good place to be at, I think.
Yeah. And just taking that theme and then looking at it in terms of what we've both done. So say we're at a level here of understanding of who we are. And this level here might be, for example, I want to be a leader, but I'm unsure how to do it. And I'm going to rely heavily on the person above me. So what's going to happen now is that's fine, because if you understand where you are, that's okay. But a lot of people don't understand where they are. And what they do then is they'll put a massive amount of load on the people above them. what will now happen is you'll attract those people in. So now you create that level of frustration around your business because all these people are asking you the same way as you've been asking them. Now, what happens is when you do meditation, you'll actually feel this, you'll understand it at a deeper level, and then you'll go to the next level. And the next level might be, you've still got these people here, which now you're trying to help them to get to where they need to get to. Now you get to this next level, which now might be, I'm duplicating better, but I'm still finding that I can't do social media very well. I'm just making it up now. Whatever it might be, now you have to learn a new skill. So now, once again, it's now finding something that is a new skill that is simple in its duplicating that you can then teach other people. Or it might be how to do a Zoom. It might be how to do X, whatever that may be. So it's allowing yourself gently to move up these levels of understanding, but understand also when you do bring leaders in at this level, they will be similar to you at that time. And as you get that, that's okay. And then you go, okay, these are the things that I'm finding that is frustrating me. Remembering if you are a responsible leader and coachable, you'll understand that that's where you are. Once you get that, then you'll go meditate on it, let it go. Okay, what do I need to get to the next level? And it's levels is probably the wrong word, but it's just a nice understanding, a way of understanding it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, these days we have a lot of people play computer games. They know how to advance to the next level. There are certain steps that we need to do to advance to the next level. Yeah. A thought just came to mind because some of the people on the call or listening to the podcast or watching the podcast might not be into the business as much yet. So just to quickly explain that we are in a business of trying to grow a network. So when we talk about duplication, again, it can be a very massive topic as well. But essentially, you want to keep things simple so that think of it like let's say you're running a McDonald's franchise or a 7-Eleven franchise. They have everything down to a system, and everything is very systematic and very, very simple. And anybody who buys the franchise is then able to follow exactly the prescribed way of working things, and they can create a same McDonald's in their own neighborhood, for example, right? So in network marketing, it is the same. It is almost like a franchise model, which is franchise 2.0, except now instead of having a physical store, you franchise yourself, right? And because you want to franchise yourself, or the system or your company's system, what you want to do is keep it simple, because then the next person can do exactly what you did, so that they can operate the business in a simple way, just like they open another McDonald's, right? Because if everybody down the line adds a little bit more, to the system or to the way of doing this business, then what you'll find is that the 10th person down the line, he's going to have a McDonald's that's way bent out of shape, that is not the same McDonald's anymore. Okay, so that is what we're trying to talk about here. I think the world is quite familiar with franchise models. That's not a problem. So think of it that way. You are creating a business where you are franchising yourself, and therefore keep things simple, because you want the next person to do exactly what you are able to do.
Yes. And the reason that we're putting this together, BK and I, is because of we'll call them mistakes, or the learnings that we've come across. And if we can impart that onto anyone, it's just a really nice heartfelt space. When people actually, it's nice. It's a nice thing to give back to the industry.
Yeah, that just don't walk the same way we walked, But of course, having said that, sometimes, Doc, I think we also understand that there are certain leaders that it is human nature. They do like to learn from their own mistakes, which is fine. We encourage that too. I mean, some people will still want to explore on their own and then learn from their own mistakes, and then after that they come to a stronger realization. But what we're doing here is that we're just hoping that we can shortcut your journey to success much faster.
I think the key words are responsible and coachable. Like, both of us are responsible and coachable. And once you understand that and those words resonate with you, you go, okay, that's probably not the right, that's a bit complicated what I just did there. How can we now actually make that a lot easier? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So we all hope that everyone comes to that realization much, much faster. So with that, we end another episode of our conversation about candid conversation about network marketing. I hope it has been helpful to you because Dr. Wayne has a wealth of knowledge about a lot of things, even meditation, which we just picked up a little bit just now. And of course, we want to help the industry by sharing some of our learnings and our pitfalls and that we have encountered. So the next time we talk about this, we will talk about some other topics. And of course, if you want a deeper dive into meditation, let us know. We will gladly accommodate that as well, right?
All right. Yeah. And thank you, BJ. Your wisdom is pretty incredible as well, mate. So yeah. Thank you for
learning. I kind of think of myself as a perpetual student, and I think
and we all.
So thank you, Dr. Wayne. Thank you, everyone. Catch you in another episode.
Will do. Catch you later. Bye.